This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Anytime. Anytime. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Hannegriff.
And a pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Hanny Time 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Mario Jerez, Taylor Sharp. Hope you had a great weekend. If you couldn't have fun with this weekend, then you probably tuned in by mistake. You're probably tuning in for a program that's something other than sports. Because if you couldn't have fun with this one, then I don't know what you could possibly ask for. A weekend where the greatest comeback by numbers in NFL history was not even the strangest way that any game ended. It might not have made the top three, honestly, if you looked at it. Guys, you had a good Mario, you down in the Superdome yesterday?
Yeah, had a great weekend. Saints got a rare win. World Cup final was a lot of fun, so overall really good.
I want to talk about the World Cup, just not for very long. Taylor, you got to work in a bad mood today because the Cowboys lost.
Yeah, but Mario's team won. Happy for him. We can just go ahead and move on.
You can tell that you're really happy for him. I can tell it's genuine when you say that. You're a Cowboy fan, and so that didn't work out terribly well for you. No, I did want to talk about the World Cup for just a second because it was a great match. You don't have to know anything about soccer, and I'll be the first one to admit I know very little about soccer. Okay, put ball in net, get goal. That's about the intricacies of the game escape me because I didn't grow up with it, and I don't watch enough of it to really study it. And I probably won't watch another soccer match until the next World Cup. I watch during the World Cup. I'm like the fan that watches track and field or gymnastics during the Olympics or even hockey. That's it. I watch a little soccer during the World Cup, unless this time, because it's right in the middle of football season. If it's in the middle of the summer, then I'm probably watching a little bit more. But I understand that Messi's really good. Okay, I thought that say, hey, Messi's really good. Okay, even that got a little bit of pushback, but I digress. No, but when you see the emotion in that crowd, the French scored 2 goals in a minute and change, and the whole thing. And Mbappe is, like I said, I don't know much about soccer, but apparently this guy is going to be the next great player in the world when Messi and the rest of them get out. He'll be the next guy. It was a great match. And you got into the penalty kicks, and it was a lot of fun. It was a really nice lead into to the football game. I even found some nice things in the Saints win. Now, here's what I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time talking about, which is the Saints' path to the playoffs. Not going there, okay? There's still 19 miracles that have to occur, and if they do all occur and the Saints get in the playoffs, I'm not expecting much. But I'm not expecting the Saints to be in the playoffs because I don't expect that they are going to win 4 games in a row because they haven't won 2 all year. So let me just stick with what, on a positive note, to get. The win is nice because they're still playing hard. And if you're looking for, they're going to have to do a whole evaluation of Dennis Allen. And it's going to include a lot of things. It's going to include game strategy. It's going to include roster management. But one of the things that they're going to have to look at is, does the team respond to him? Well, in his defense, they are still playing hard when there would be ample reason for them not to play hard. So that's good. They have found some young players that they, I think, can use as some building blocks. They don't have a lot of draft choices. They've gutted some of their draft capital. So when you pick up Rashid Shaheed and he starts making plays, when you get a Jawan Johnson that is making plays, some of the guys that you used draft capital on, like Alante Taylor, who was hurt at the beginning of the season, that is starting to make plays. When you can, find a Caden Ellis and he's making plays that these are some lower cost options for you. I hate to bring the cost up to it, but I did a podcast last week about where the Saints are salary cap, and if you're into the horror genre, go listen to it because it ain't pretty. They're going to need some players that don't make a ton of money that are going to have to play for them. Well, the Johnson and Shaheed and Taylor and Ellis all fit that profile. Also, Trevor Penning is playing. That was a positive thing. It's 4 or 5 weeks now, whatever it is, and he's getting some time. Doesn't look like a bust at all. Was hoping before the season that he would have moved into the starting lineup somewhere in September, October. The injury made that impossible. At one point, it looked like he might not play at all this year. That was good. He's back. Chris Olave, which you did spend a lot of draft capital on, has had a very, very strong year and looks like the star that they drafted him to be. So all that is good. Andy Dalton is playing pretty well. This is 4 straight games without an interception. Again, Patrick Mahomes, he ain't, but at this stage of his career, he's playing well enough that you can go with him, and he's playing well enough that if he comes back next year, he can be the bridge to whatever the next quarterback is, however they figure out how to do that. So that's good. Would have been easy for Dalton to have, been yanked out of the lineup, and maybe they should have, but they have decided, for better or worse, that they are done with Jameis Winston. So, okay, they made that call. So all of that is good. And the Saints caused a turnover when they needed it most. The most deficient part of their game this year has been the turnover battle. They absolutely had to have one, and they got it. Otherwise, the Falcons probably go down, need to tie the score, win the game, even with a rookie quarterback. They get the punch out, they get the ball back, and even then they had to make you sweat a little bit at the end. You weren't nervous on the sneak, were you, Mario? You thought they had it the whole way?
Not at all.
No.
Yes.
No. So even at that point, the problems are still the problems. The rush defense gives up nearly 6 yards a carry yesterday, and they have fallen to 23rd in the league in rush defense, and that's not a front that you would expect would have given up those numbers this year. That remains a problem. The turnovers, even you got one when you needed one, but you wouldn't have needed one if you would have punched it in when you're on the 15-yard line and you fumble yet again. So turnovers are still a problem. They were poor in short yardage. There was one particular sequence where they had 2nd and 1 and turned it into 4th and long. Okay, that's a bummer. And they had a hard time getting off the field on 3rd down, which when you give up those kind of rushing yards, you figure you're going to have a hard time getting off the field on 3rd down. The scoring drives that they had 3rd downs on, they had 7 3rd downs on their scoring drives, the Falcons scoring drives. The average yards to go were just over 3 yards. So if you never put a team, you're rarely putting a team behind the sticks, it becomes an awful lot easier to convert. I mean, they only had 1 3rd down on the scoring drives that was more than 4 yards to go. It's hard to get stops in the NFL on 3rd and short, especially when you got a quarterback that's got a little bit of mobility. So that remains a problem. Am I encouraged by what I saw yesterday? Like I said, a little bit, if only because I am looking towards next year. This is all evaluation for me. How much more can you get out of this roster that you can carry forward to next year? And it's all going to be on the lower cost players. How many? I hate to put it this way because it's not a demeaning thing to the players to say that they are cheap players, but Shaheed is a cheap player. He is he's like gold. Okay, when you get a player that is making plays and doesn't cost you a lot of money, there's a term for that. It's fantastic. In the Saints' case, necessary. When you can find a Jawan Johnson, when you can, make a move for an Alontae Taylor, and that means that, it was difficult to see back at the time, but they did not want to sink a ton of money into Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because they felt like Alontae Taylor was going to play that role. He was going to be a better locker room guy, and he was going to cost them a lot less money. Well, at the beginning of the season, he wasn't playing. All right, so now here's this guy, and he looks like he's going to be a player at a reasonable cost. Trevor Penning and Chris Olave cost you a ton in draft capital, but they are under contract, and both of them look like they're going to be players. You brought Ellis in, and it's like, hey, wait, look, this guy can play. It may allow you to make some other moves with some higher-priced guys because you've got these guys that are willing, that are ready to come in and give you some minutes. Pete Werner's another one before he got hurt. So, like I said, those are some of the things that I'm encouraged about. It's not a lot of things that I'm encouraged about, but there were some positives. And the Saints got a win. Could have been worse. They could have blown a big lead. Did anybody in the league blow a big lead this weekend? Did the Colts blow a big lead? Yes. Did Taylor's Dallas Cowboys blow a big lead? Yes. Did the Bucks blow a big lead? Yes. And I enjoyed that greatly. That was a lot of fun. They could have gone out and turned the ball over 4 times in 12 seconds, like the Bucks did. So none of those things happened. So that was the positives that I can pull out of it. A lot of other stuff to get to from the weekend. The weekend in the NFL was somebody posted, says, man, this NFL weekend is drunk. Okay. Pick your adjective. It probably won't be wrong. LSU basketball got a win over the weekend. Was a little bit of a struggle to do it, but there was some really good college basketball games on Saturday. I missed the first 3 touch at 33-0. I was done with the Colts and Vikings. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I was done at 27-0. I'm just like, so I didn't get back to Colts and Vikings until it was, I think, 36-21 might have been the score, because I had moved over and I was watching Alabama-Gonzaga play basketball. I was watching Alabama turn the ball over, which also made me happy. Was watching a really, really highly competitive game between Houston and Virginia when I start to notice that, Twitter's going crazy. It's like, hey, wait, the Colts are back in. It's like, wait a minute, hang on. The Vikings are back in. It's like, wait a minute, hang on. Vikings were my pick of the weekend. That was remember I said it's my favorite pick. Vikings. Had it all the way, man. Oh, wait, they didn't cover. The only person in the United States of America, hey, the Vikings won. What a comeback. Well, they didn't cover. Didn't do me any good. We will take a break, come back, get to some of that basketball and football over the weekend. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
If you're having problems as a business owner with staffing has become one of the most time-consuming and often frustrating things that you have to deal with. The interviews, the background checks, all of the training, all of the employment expenses. Let Tiger Labor and Staffing help you with all of this. You can take care of all of your needs as far as onboarding people, training them, screening them, without having to worry about unqualified applicants, without having to worry about the no-show interviews, all of the things that are extremely time-consuming. If you need somebody for a day, a week, or a month, you get to control your labor expenses and increase your flexibility. You need more people during the holidays or at the beginning of the year. You lower your employment risk with a temp-to-hire option of only 60 days, lowest in the industry. If you're looking for a job, Tiger Labor and Staffing welcomes skilled and unskilled labor. They'll match you with a job that fits. And there's quick turnarounds on pay, so get your work done without the worries. Tiger Labor and Staffing. Success begins with the eye of the tiger. Go to tigerlabor.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap Saints Falcons and everything Brian Kelly had to say about the recruiting weekend and bowl prep for Purdue. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Couple of comments out of the chat. Trevor Penning, a wasted pick. They better hope not. It hasn't been the type of rookie year that they wanted because of the injury, but I'm hopeful that he can. He's played a little bit. I'm hopeful for that. Hanny, you putting lipstick on a pig with the Saints? Yes. Guilty. No question. Yes, I am, in the spirit of the holiday, trying to find something positive. If you'd like me to speak negatively, I did multiple podcasts on this. There's plenty to be bleak about. I was trying to find something else on the day after a win. So guilty as charged there. Dennis Allen's the worst coach in the NFL, and it's not close. This gentleman has not watched the Broncos. Actually, most of the AFC West in general, everybody not named Andy Reid, although the way the Raider game ended yesterday, which is historic, you've never seen anything quite like this. This is the end of pitchy woo-woo in tie games as we know it. That'll never happen again from any coach, okay? But you have to, and I thought the Raiders were poorly coached all year. Broncos poorly coached all year. Chargers probably the best of a bad lot, but I'm not sold on him either. But didn't yesterday's Patriots-Raiders game end exactly? If somebody said, let me tell you how the Raiders-Patriots game ended. One of the teams in a tie ball game threw a 23-yard lateral to the other team in the middle of the field, and that team ran it back for a touchdown. Wouldn't you think that it was the Patriots that had caught the ball and ran it back? Wouldn't that be like the perfect thing? I mean, some of that has got to be on Belichick, right? Why are you running the ball there? What is the upside? Is Stevenson going to break one for a touchdown? There's no way. I mean, the Raiders are playing 30 yards back. That's the play that you expect the Raiders to try instead of the Patriots. Got to be a little bit. Victory formation was born because of Joe Pisarcik. Joe Pisarcik was a Giants quarterback trying to run a game out against the Eagles in the late 70s, turns around, fumbles the football, Herman Edwards picks it up, he goes for a touchdown, and ever since then, instead of running the clock out, you kneel the clock out with defenders all around you, guys all around you. And a lot of times with somebody, 10 yards behind you, which really ought to be a safety, but that's a whole different thing. So, no, Dennis Allen is not the worst coach in the league. Has he done a good job this year? No, not really. But he's not the worst coach in the league. Hey, who was the best coach in college football this year, since we're talking about that? AP Coach of the Year came out. Sonny Dykes in a landslide. There were two things about this that, and I would have voted for Sonny Dykes as well. That team was 5-7 a year ago. They went 12-0, and they lost the Big 12 championship game on the last play of the game, and he ended up in the playoffs. No problem. I would have voted for him too. But you can vote down the line, first place votes, second place votes, etc. Willie Fritz finished second, and he did a great job at Tulane. Josh Heupel finished third. Jim Harbaugh finished fourth. They went all the way down to 14 people that got some votes somewhere. Brian Kelly didn't get any. I thought he'd got one, one or two. I mean, it's not like he inherited the 78 Steelers here. He won the toughest division in college football with a team that started with, less than 50 scholarship players the day he got here. It's kind of good, right? I mean, a little bit of love. Shane Beamer got votes, and Brian Kelly didn't get out. One stray vote. One of the big things, though, that happened over the weekend, Kelly had a press conference, which is the first time that we've heard from him since the Southeastern Conference Championship game. And I think the biggest news was that Jaden Daniels, he feels like, is going to be ready to play in the bowl game. In fact, he went so far as to say that if the bowl game was this week, Jaden Daniels could play in the bowl game this week. That was significant as far as I was concerned, not just for the bowl game, which I care a little bit about, and next year, which I care a lot about. If Jaden Daniels, and he hasn't said, 100% for sure that he's coming back. He hasn't said that he's not either. The fact that he's going to play in his bowl game leads me to believe that he's planning on coming back. I mean, could he play in a bowl game and then leave? Yeah, I guess he could. But that was the biggest, the biggest news, I thought, out of Kelly's presser on Saturday, and how they have divided up the reps so far in the bowl practices and what they'll continue to do from now until the time they play Purdue, and what that looks like in the spring if everybody is indeed back. And how do you make what will now be 3 quarterbacks happy as far as practice reps? I guess that's a good problem to have, but I thought that was the most newsworthy thing. The other thing that he talked about was roster management, and that they would probably have somewhere in the mid to high 30s of newcomers in the signing class. That's pretty much what Shea and Mike and those guys have been telling us. It'll be somewhere in the the mid to high 20s as far as the high school kids, and another 8 to 10 out of the transfer portal. So I thought all of that was pretty positive news. See the positive, the positive vibes got continue to get that going. So I thought that was good news out of the Kelly presser this weekend. Good news if you are looking for a gift for the significant other. See, that's a segue. Guys like my man Taylor went to Selassie in Denham Springs for the significant other in your life. Stuart, a certified diamond graduate from GIA. So whether you're looking for design, for build, or repair, go to Selassie in Denham Springs. They're conveniently located in the Antique District, family owned and operated. So they're open 7 days a week all the way through, I guess next Sunday is Christmas. So every day this week they will be open. Watches, Timex, all the way to Rolex. They service all of those watches, watch band adjustments, ring sizing, jewelry appraisals, all of that done there. They're going to get you what you want. You can go in there like many of us, and you're not exactly sure what you're looking for. Let Stuart and Renee help you out. Their staff certainly qualified to point you in the right direction like they did with Taylor. So for your Christmas buying ideas, Selassie in the Antique District in Denham Springs. LSU basketball on Saturday night, an 89-81 winner over Winthrop. They really struggled to put this team away. This was a team that has a current net of 253, so that was a little bit concerning. Winthrop only had 3 wins coming into this thing against D1 teams. One of them was against South Carolina State, and one of them was against Eastern Michigan. Both of them have a net over 300. The other one was against Middle Tennessee, which is a 107. Tigers have got one more layup. They get East Tennessee State this week, who is a 325 net. And then the price of poker goes up. They got to play Arkansas and Kentucky after that. I watched a lot of this game. I was watching other things, but I had it on and watching it. LSU shot the ball well. They shot 55% from the floor. They shot 41% from threes. Cam Hayes had the big game. He had 25 points, and LSU was able to win a game where KJ Williams was just good and not superhuman. Adam Miller finally got a few to fall. I think at one point he was 3 for 30 over a 2.5. 2 2/3 game stretch, and they're going to need him. He's one of those guys that they count on to score, and it was I don't want to say a miracle, but it was certainly surprising that they were able to get past Wake Forest when he shot the ball as poorly as he did. He's been in a 3-game slump. He finally got a couple to go at the end. Maybe that'll get him going because he's a much better shooter than what he has shown over the last 3 games. So sometimes you can't buy one, and then all of a sudden a couple fall. And you get right back in the groove. I hope that that is something that will get Adam Miller going because they really need him. They did a lot of things well in the game. They out-rebounded Winthrop. They kept the turnovers down. 19 assists on 35 baskets is good. But they let Winthrop shoot 53% from the floor. 52% from the floor. I watched a lot of college basketball this weekend. I watched a decent amount of Southeastern Conference basketball this weekend, and there's plenty of teams that can score way better than Winthrop. So this is about to get rocky. They put this schedule together. I understand why they did it, and frankly, I've seen enough of these games. There's just not a whole lot more that I can hash out from what I've seen. They can beat the Winthrops of the world. They'll beat the East Tennessee States of the world, but come next week, they got to start playing real teams. And their first 2 real teams are Arkansas and Kentucky. And even though Kentucky is not as good as I think that they were preseason build, they're still Kentucky, and they're still, vastly superior to what I've seen from LSU so far. So the 89-81 win, where LSU really didn't put this thing away until very, very late. It's kind of like the other 8 games that I've seen outside of Wake Forest and Kansas State. I'm encouraged a little bit by when they did play Kansas State and Wake Forest, who are okay teams. They're not great, but they're not Eastern Michigan either. I'm encouraged that they hung in both of those games. Both of those games came down to the last possession. They won one, they lost one. The one that they lost, the clock malfunction certainly threw them for a little bit of a loop. But I have seen enough of the Winthrop games. I've seen enough of who did I say they're playing with? East Tennessee State. Well, seen enough. Okay, this is enough of the warm-ups. We're done. Let's see exactly. I expect Arkansas to thump them pretty good next week in the SEC opener. Let's see how far the gap is. That's what I want to see. We're talking about a single-digit gap? We're talking about a double-digit gap? We're talking about completely outclassed? Arkansas is going to come in with 3 players that will be likely first-round picks. 2 for sure. The third one is a maybe. And at least one of those is going to be a top 10 pick. So we'll see exactly how far LSU has come when they play Arkansas next week. In the meantime, one more layup with East Tennessee State during the week. We'll take a break here. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com as we get ready for the holiday weekend. What you cooking? If you're cooking with rice, make sure you're cooking with Supreme Rice. And for our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana since the 1930s. Whether you get it in the long grain, the medium grain, the brown, or the jasmine, Supreme Rice is going to be perfect for your holiday get-together. You're going to stretch your food dollar, support our Louisiana farmers at the same time. It's all of our Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed down in Southwest Louisiana. Easy to pick up at all of your AG food stores, all of your Rouse's, your Costco's, and your Winn-Dixie. Not sure what to cook? If you're charged with bringing a dish to your get-together and you want to do something a little bit different, check out the website. They've got some unique recipes. For more information, go to the website at SupremeRice.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to
Monday evening edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're live at Rouge Creole in Perkins Row, recapping all of the college and NFL action from the weekend on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Ooh, Merry Christmas, Christmas comes this time each year. Ooh, well, way up north where the air gets cold, there's a tale about Christmas that you've all been told.
This is Hanny Time, your sports break during your lunch break with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, Christmas music, Mario? Is that the theme this week?
Yeah, we made it to Christmas week. Why
I like
not?
that. I like that. We'll go with that throughout the course of the week. Be a little bit festive around here. Okay, so the rest of the games that I watched, because I literally told you this last week, you could just sit there the entire weekend, and I did. Okay. So what do you want for your birthday? I like to watch sports pretty much straight across for 2 days. So here's just some random things that I was thinking. The Vikings game against the Colts, there was one point in the game where the Colts could have tried a field goal late. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I quit watching at whatever point it was. I think it was either 27 or 30-0. I switched over and I was watching college basketball. So I didn't get back into this until the Vikings were within 2 scores. But there was a point where they could have kicked a 54-yard field goal. Kid had already made a long one, and you're inside, so you got a shot at this. That would have put them up 11 late in the game. They decided instead to go for it. Didn't make it. You got to work really hard to blow a 33-point lead. And Matt Ryan, God bless, now owns the most ridiculous record in sports. Wasn't all his fault. I mean, he didn't play defense in that Super Bowl, and he didn't play defense on Saturday. But now the owner of the biggest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl and the biggest comeback in the history of the regular season. He's now on the wrong side of both of them. Bills and the Dolphins. This was one of the better games of the weekend, and there were plenty of good ones. Two things about this. Number one, the weather didn't become a factor until very late in the game. There was supposed to be ridiculous snow and wind and all that stuff at the beginning of the game. There wasn't. The first half was pretty calm, and the Dolphins were fine. They were even fine into the second half, but the play that blew my mind, we talk about clock management and all these things. The Bills are great, right? You get down to the end of the first half, and there's 8 seconds to go, and they're on the 4-yard line going in, and it's first down. Allen rolls to his right. He's still rolling. He's still rolling. He's still rolling. He's still rolling. Finally lets it go, and he hits Cook in the back of the end zone. And as Cook falls to the ground, the clock hits 0. I'm sorry. First thing I thought of, Matt Flynn and, Demetrius Byrd, when he gets down in the end zone and there's 1 second to go, and it's like, man, he bobbles the ball. You lose the game. Now, they looked back at the clock in the LSU game, and they probably would have added 1 second, but you never can tell. I was like, wow, what will we be talking about if the Bill? This is how razor thin the margin is. If Cook drops the ball, they don't get a field goal. If the ball sails on Allen a little bit, if he makes an errant throw, they don't get that win. That's his gamble pays off. Some of the other gambles did not pay off, like the Jets. The Jets, for some reason, as they were driving for the winning or the potentially tying or winning points against line, they've got all 3 timeouts left, and they just let the clock run. You're watching this thing, I'm sitting there going, you got 3 timeouts left. They let 38 seconds fall off the clock in between 2 different plays on that game-winning drive. So what were they stuck with at the end? They were stuck with a 58-yard field goal attempt because time was running out, and they got to take 1 timeout home with them. Didn't do them a whole lot of good. The Steelers win. Had somebody post in the chat a little while ago that there's talk around the Pittsburgh media that they may move on from Mike Tomlin. I haven't heard that. If they do, they're crazy. Tomlin's never had a losing season, and he is putting on a late rush to make sure that record stays intact. First of all, the Steelers don't do that. Of all the organizations in professional sports, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you could rank them 1, 2. How many teams we got? Baseball, football, basketball, and I don't even know the hockey. Whatever that number is, put the Steelers last as far as teams that make knee-jerk reactions. Can't imagine that they would move on from him. Steelers win again over the Panthers. Okay, Taylor, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell me what the most aggravating point of Cowboys Jaguars, you the lone Cowboy fan in the room.
Oh, easy. You're up 10 points in the fourth quarter.
No foul language? No foul language?
Yeah. You're up 10 points in the fourth quarter. You get the ball deep in your own territory. All you got to do is run out the clock with Zeke and Pollard. You have Dak drop back. He gets sacked for an 8-yard loss. So you're like, okay, we'll have him drop back again. There's a pick. Next drive, you start throwing it again. Another pick.
See, this is a Cowboy fan. This is somebody who's watched the game very, very closely.
You're throwing the ball up double digits. They ran the ball earlier in the game, and they had success with it.
And it's a terrific 1-2 punch. I think Pollard is the better player at this point in his career, but Zeke still got some tread left on the tires, and they're
the touchdown now. 7 straight games with the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not saying Zeke can carry an offense the way he once could when he was the NFL's leading rusher, but he is by no means done. And Pollard, who is the smaller back, probably would break down quicker with that kind of workload that Elliott used to carry. It's one of the best rushing combinations in the league. I'd put them Chubb and Hunt up in Cleveland earlier in the year, but I would put them right there. So a lot of people are saying, are the Cowboys really, built to win in the playoffs? Everything's there. You've got the running game. You have an experienced quarterback. You have a big play receiver. You have a good defense. You have one of the premier defensive players in the league in Micah Parsons. You can win a game with a pass rush late. They've got everything there, but something is a little bit off with them right now. You want to say the coach, don't you? You really, I can, the look on you.
No, I actually do not.
You don't? Okay. All right. A lot of other people want to say the coach. I don't know if that's fair, but on Christmas Eve, while we're hanging the stockings by the chimney with Carol, I'm going to be watching Cowboys-Eagles because I think that'll be one of the more telling games as we're heading toward the playoff is to where everybody is, because Philadelphia didn't blow Chicago away. If the Bears, and I mean the second the clock hits 0 at the end of the season, don't go start stockpiling offensive players to help Justin Fields, then I don't know what they're doing. Please, my God, get the man some help. All right. I don't know if he's going to be a great quarterback in the league for years to come, but I know that there's plenty of potential there. And I know that the reason that they were in the doggone game in a lot of cases had to do with the fact that Fields was out there. The scramble touchdown, the long run. Please get him some help if you'd like to contend. I mean, the Bears, their entire history has been trying to find a quarterback. You may actually have one, but if you go all Green Bay on him and say, hey, let's see if Rodgers can do this by himself, you're going to be disappointed. I want to see Eagles and the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. I think that one is going to be terrific. I enjoyed the Buccaneer meltdown because I do enjoy watching Tom Brady get aggravated. It's one of the best theater in the NFL right now. But you just don't expect that any team is going to turn the ball over 4 times that quickly, especially not one with Tom Brady as a quarterback. It's the first time in 90 home games in his career they've been up 17 and lost. And the Bengals, who are as hot as any team in football right now, Joe Burrow really spread it around yesterday. Didn't know in the middle of the week if they were going to have T. Higgins. Didn't know in the middle of the week if they were going to have Tyler Boyd. Not only did both of them play, both of them scored a touchdown. So did Jamar Chase. Burrow ended up throwing 4 touchdown passes in the game, and the Bengals win going away. You're down 17-0 and near the end of the first half, and you win that game going away. So that was that one was fun to watch. The game last night was not as fun to watch. I managed to make it all the way this far without talking about Mario. What's my least favorite topic to talk about?
Officiating.
Thank you. Do not like to talk about officiating. Don't want to be the guy that screams at the ump. Nobody likes that guy, but sometimes you have to acknowledge that bear hugs are illegal when you're guarding receivers. You just can't do that, especially when the play before that, you called the same team for being in an illegal formation by about, 2 eyelashes, maybe 3 eyelashes, to the point where even the official in the booth, I forgot which one was doing, it wasn't Sarator, one of the other guys. Anyway, whoever the replay official was that was working the broadcast last night said, no, I'm not calling that. I mean, he was pretty adamant about it. Of course I'm not calling that. Receiver checks with the referee. He thinks he's got a thumbs up, and they call him. They take that touchdown away. They took the conversion away on the offensive pass interference earlier, and then the Giants bear hug the Commanders receiver at the end. And he's, well, man, look, I'm sorry. I have to mention that. And then Patriots Raiders, pitchy woo woo, have no idea what he was thinking. But this is the enjoy this one. Run it back as many times as you want. My prediction is there will never, ever be a team in a tie game that will do anything but kneel on the ball after this. I mean, this is the poster child gold standard. This play will be replayed in every special teams meeting, every organizational meeting. They'll play this every training camp. Say, you won't do this ever again. But I can't just blame the play. A little bit of this has to go on Belichick. Greatest coach of all time, going to be the winningest coach of all time when he hangs up his headset. Why are you running the ball? Why are you? We talk about situational football. He's mumbling again after the game. Bill, it's a little bit on you. It's a little bit on you. You've got a relatively inexperienced quarterback, but it wasn't his fault. Why would you take any chance to do anything other than just kneel on the football right there? Well, next time they will. Next time every team will. It's going to be harder to get pitchy woo-woos after this because it's just going to be when you are behind. We'll take a break, come back, take some of your questions here. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Big Mike's in Denham Springs. We get into holiday week with live music. Thursday, it's Caitlin Renee. On Friday, Titanium Rain, and on Saturday, Christmas Eve. They're open from 11 until 4, so you want to come over, get something to eat, get a little cocktail before they give their staff Christmas Eve off. You can head on in on Saturday at Big Mike's. Gift card specials remain this week. If you're still looking for some stocking stuffers for the people in your life, your visit will include gift cards for them, but also a little bonus for you. If you purchase $30 in gift cards, you get 5 off your next visit. 50 will get you 10, and 100 will get you 20 off of your next visit. Offsite catering is still available. If you're just hopeless in the kitchen, kind of like me, you're going to bring something. You want to bring something good to your holiday gathering. Let Big Mike's help you out with the catering. On Aspen Boulevard in Denham Springs, Big Mike's were kind of a big deal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Nearly half of children in foster care drop out of school. But you can rewrite that story. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
Every business is different, but B1 Bank knows that every business owner has similar needs. From streamlining accounts receivables to maintaining access to working capital, a trusted bank is your best asset for staying on top of day-to-day finances and planning for future business growth. At B1 Bank, I know I have access to commercial banking experts who care about the needs of my business and can guide me to accomplish my goals. B1 Bank knows that managing your business isn't simple, but they can help you make it uncomplicated.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Black Widow Jeep Gladiators in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7.
On Tuesdays, OTB, ho, 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 one day closer to Christmas. And to Pelicans fans, get an early present in the form of a broken losing streak. Plus, it's almost signing day off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blixen and all.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Credit to Vikings fans for not leaving at halftime. That's from William in the chat. I never saw a crowd shot, like a really wide angle crowd shot after halftime. But again, I was watching like 4 different things. was the stadium still somewhat full? I'll be honest with you. I'll hang in there with the best of them. It's 33-0, man. I'm headed for the exits. I don't want to watch the clock run out.
That's tough to tell in any football game, I feel like. Like basketball, where the crowd's closer to the actual court, that's easier to see. But that would be hard to tell on any football broadcast, no?
Yeah. Well, sometimes you get a nice wide angle shot of the crowd, and you can see how many people have left. I mean, that 33-0, and it's, I mean, come on. What are you just hoping at that point? Well, maybe somebody on my fantasy team is going to score. I mean, you can't possibly think that they're going to come back. So, hey, if they stuck around, really good. As Candy, did you hear Patrick Peterson was the one who got the Vikings fired up and believing at halftime? I heard the coach say that Peterson was the one that sparked him, and good for him. He's a veteran. They listened, but even, I mean, Vince Lombardi on his best day can only give such a good speech. You got to come from down 5 touchdowns. Mario, Pelicans over the week. Can't ignore that. Blow a 23-point lead to Phoenix. Now, look, I thought the loss on the road trip that really hurt was the middle one against Utah. The first game, they just couldn't make a shot. And that over 82 games in the NBA, that's going to happen to you sometime. And frankly, I thought that they would lose against Phoenix because they had won the 2 games, in New Orleans last week. Figured Phoenix was going to come out fired up. Figured that they were going to get some calls. That's just how it goes in the NBA. Devin Booker shot more free throws than the Pelicans did as a team. He scored 58 points. He couldn't miss. At one point, he scored 20. Was it 24 or 26 in a row?
Something like that.
One of the top 10 players in the NBA, and he was on his game. Couldn't miss. Even with the 23-point lead, is the middle game. That was the one that bothered me. The one where they had the 12-point lead against Utah. The one on Thursday. And ended up losing. That, to me, that was the tough one.
That was frustrating, but the Saturday loss was also frustrating too. I mean, to build that big of a lead and basically let one player beat you was very, frustrating to watch. And not just the rotations, which people had a lot of questions about in the fourth quarter, but they waited a really long time to run 2 guys at Devin Booker and kind of force somebody else to beat him. It was frustrating, but it's just one game out of 82, and you do have the Bucks at home tonight, so hopefully they can bounce back.
Looks like they're going to be without Larry Nance tonight, so and they're without Brandon Ingram. This will be 12 games, I think, in a row that he has missed. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about that. Maybe I'm 4 games late to be nervous about that, but this was supposed to be done by now, and he's still out. Hey, guess who else is out?
Anthony Davis.
Good guess. He's going to be out several weeks. You know what? I don't want to be catty about it. I don't root for any players to get hurt. Okay. I mean, that's just low rent. Okay. You don't do that. But if he wouldn't have put Porky Pig on that shirt on his way out the door, he got a little catty too. So it's like, you know what? Gonna miss some games. Lakers could lose. I'm kind of fine with the Lakers losing.
What's our vector, Victor?
Thank you. How fitting was that? Never did get to the bowl games. We ran out of time. I do a little bit of that on the podcast. Yes, I did see the Florida game, bits and pieces of it. Was not one of our plays. Had a rough weekend with the plays this weekend. We've been going good for a while. Kind of do a bump in the road, but Florida wasn't one of the games they played. Where are you on kicking the field goal, down 30 points, keep the streak going? I mean, I wrestle with this a little bit. I mean, this is one that could end up, if it's your fan base, let's say it was LSU, and LSU had scored a point, had not been shut out in, 200 games or whatever it is, and he's down 30-0, and he kicks a field goal to keep the streak going. Is that first class? Is that no class? Probably depends on where you're standing in the United States of America. If you're standing in Gainesville, maybe they're saying, okay, we're glad he kept the streak going. They're probably not saying they were glad he went 6-7 though. We still having those discussions. Not pushing it. I'm just asking. Thought that Hanny, we need some bowl winners. December is an expensive month. Yeah, no kidding. Came up short with the Vikings by half a point. pushed with the Chargers, lost with Cincinnati Bearcats. I thought that was a reasonable play, given that their coach used to coach the other guys, and we knew he wasn't even going to the game. I guess he didn't drop any knowledge on that. It was a pretty ugly game to watch. We missed with that one. So I'm going to work on some bowl winners before the end of the week. We got Marshall and UConn today. We'll tell you that our friend Bruce Marshall is on UConn and the points. That comes up in about 35 minutes. So I'll go with he's also likes the under in the game today. So I'll go with Bruce on that one. Ask Hanny, is Jay Johnson the best recruiter in the country? We did a segment on Friday, and ordinarily we wouldn't do a baseball recruiting segment this time of year, but he's got like 4 of the top 10. And since they've been doing baseball recruiting rankings, this one may be the top class ever. I'm going to ask the same question I asked David Foles, who was on the show the other day, which is how many of these guys actually get to campus? If they get to campus, then it's the mother of all recruiting classes, but they actually have to get here. So take a wait and see. Hunt Palmer is next. Thanks to everybody for participating. For Taylor and Mario, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. This has been Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge as we head down towards year end. 3.9% APR for 60 months on most models on the lot. And on the MDX and the TLX, $1,000 in loyalty cash is coming back. 2-year, 24,000-mile complimentary scheduled maintenance on all 2023 models, and a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot. 7 years or 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, roadside assistance, and your first scheduled maintenance is free. Buy vehicles in my house at Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge. You're going to get transparency in the pricing. You're going to get a relaxed atmosphere when you go, a very comfortable buying experience. So do what we've done and head here as we get closer to year end where the deals are plentiful at Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge.